Hey everyone, this is Malo and Alicia with Fruitful Family Ministries. And we're going to do something. This is the first time for us doing this, and we're excited about it, y'all,
Yep.
because it's live for one. Secondly, we're so used to doing devotions together, but now
Yes.
we want to share devotions with whoever wants to get on and join us in this time of devotion. And this devotion really is going to be from Monday through Friday, correct?
Yep.
And what we're going to be talking about is growth, and particularly growth through change, because we got a lot of changes popping off in our country right now, and in our individual lives, and we want to just be able to have a discussion about it, talk about it, and see what God gives us while we're doing it.
Absolutely. We came on yesterday and we asked you guys a question. If you hadn't didn't catch us yesterday, the question was, are you growing through or are you going through the motions? And my husband asked me that question, and I was letting him know that at first I was going through the motions, but now I'm growing through what I'm going through. And like you said, we're going to be talking about that all this week, growth through change. And our resources is going to be from the U version of the Bible app, the devotional plan called Growth Through Change.
Yeah, and a lot of times, well, I'm not going to get ahead of I don't want to get ahead of this, y'all. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let you start reading, and then we can
Okay.
kind of dissect it as we go along.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Growth begins with change. We see this quite clearly within nature. An oak tree starts with an acorn and changes. A butterfly is formed with a cocoon and changes. And a flower blooms from a bud and changes. We also see this throughout our own lives. We grow taller, our voices change, and our appearance slowly transforms as the years go by. As a child, I can remember the soreness that my mother would refer to as growing pains. Growth and change are heavily related. Where you find one, you will always almost find the other. The difficulty with this concept is simple. Everyone wants to grow, but nobody likes change. Yet, in order for us to embrace growth, we must also embrace change.
Yeah.
We must view change as a necessary piece of the puzzle, even though it may be uncomfortable to navigate at times. Change is scary, but it often requires action on our part.
Yeah.
This action, be it a response to change or a catalyst for it, forces us to make a decision. We weigh out our options, hoping that we make the right choice.
Yes.
I've made changes when I felt they were necessary, and I've had change thrown onto me. What I found is that there are two ways to make peace with change. One is to bring your concerns to God. The other is don't resist the change. When we feel fearful or uncertain about any upcoming change, we must bring these concerns to God. The size of the change doesn't matter. And that which we feel is a drastic transformation is a minor shift in the eyes of the Lord. Remember, it is He who sees the entire picture while we're focused on a small portion. Invite Him in to go over these concerns and listen to His wisdom when He presents it to you. Don't resist or struggle against the changes that you cannot control. Instead, seek the wisdom and understanding that are needed to adapt to the change and incorporate it into your life.
Wow. He said a lot there for me. The first statement, the first thing he said in this, he said, growth begins with change.
Absolutely.
That's, when I think about that, that's where for me, the change, none of us, I ain't gonna say none of us, a lot of us don't like change. And the reason is because it's something different that we're not familiar with. But not thinking this could be an opportunity for growth.
Absolutely.
We think it is an opportunity for discomfort. Something I don't like, something's going to make me do something I don't feel like doing.
Right.
And coming from a perspective of, looking at it from a perspective of, I can grow through this is the right way to look at it.
Absolutely. And change does happen that way. And sometimes We don't like change because we are comfortable. We're comfortable with what we have. We're comfortable in the situation that we got going on, and we don't want to. We don't want our comfort to be disturbed.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
And I definitely can relate to that. Like when you asked me the question, was I growing through or was I going through the motions?
Right.
And I recently just made a change. I separated from my place of employment.
Hey, V.
And with that change came a lot of emotions. And I had to deal with all those different emotions at first. So like the word motions, I was dealing with emotions.
Right.
And I was dealing with different feelings and things like that. And I could not embrace the change that was occurring in my life at that time.
And I like what V said. We got to get out of our comfort zone.
Absolutely.
And anybody's on this post. Hey, look, if I get the lingo wrong, forgive me. I'm learning. Okay. But anybody who's on, feel free to engage with us. Because, the word says iron sharpens iron. You may give us perspective we may not touch on. So please feel free to step in and give us a shout or give us a few words of wisdom. But going back to what you said in terms of that level of comfort, that's the main thing. And I think for me, it was the unknown that really caused me to kind of step back a little bit. Two things. Let me get straight. Two things. Unknown, and then the work I had to put in to do it. To be totally honest, if I got to change, that means I got to put some work in.
Absolutely.
And do I really feel like doing this?
Absolutely.
What's your motivation?
Yeah, because you have to do your part. Change is going to happen inevitably. But growth, you got to make that choice to grow during that change or through that change.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do and sometimes we don't for whatever given reason. Like the word says in Ecclesiastes 3:1, it says that for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. And when I think about that scripture, I think about everything has a divine order. There's a certain time for a certain thing to happen in our lives. So a lot of times change occurs when God feels as though we're ready to accept it, or we're ready to embrace it, or we're ready to do what needs to be done to engage in that change.
Right. I like how the author of this, he transitions. Okay, here's the reality of it. Growth and change are heavily related. True, they are. If we look at it from the right perspective.
Absolutely.
Where you find one, you will almost, I like when he said almost, you will almost find the other. The difficulty with this concept is simple. Everyone wants to grow, but nobody likes to change.
Absolutely.
Change brings a responsibility. Change brings, like V said, it takes you out of your comfort zone. And who likes to be uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who likes to be uncomfortable?
We all want to be comfortable.
Absolutely.
And then in that comfortableness, though, we tend to get complacent. You get all these different relatives when you're dealing with these different emotions. So in our comfort, it's okay for a moment until it's not. And it's not when we start getting complacent in our comfortableness. And when we get complacent and dormant, nothing grows.
Nothing grows.
You start being stagnant, and then you want growth. But like you said, but you don't want to change to do it. And that's an oxymoron when you think about it.
It really is. And to go back to that comfort level, I remember when I was younger, very immature, very irresponsible. And I just did what I wanted to do. And when I was around folks who say, you need to try to do this, do that, I didn't want to hear it. But sometimes you're forced to, or you get a wake-up call. So like, I got to make some changes. And when I started making those changes, what happened is I started seeing myself differently, started thinking about things differently. For example, when I was younger, I wasn't paying no bills. I was making sure I did what I wanted to do. And what I found out was my credit got jacked up because I was being irresponsible. And after a period of time, I'm like, I have to make some changes. And that's when it comes to a time when you have to make a quality decision. If you want something better, you're going to have to do something different. Because it's not, if you don't change, then nothing is going to change. You're going to stay where you are. And what I found out was the more I looked at things from a different perspective, going back to this growth thing, the more I started to grow. And then what happened was I started being around other people who enhanced my development as well.
Absolutely. I like that. And for me, it was a little different, especially, well, I would say after my relationship with Christ, it was different. Before, that's how it was. You know, you got tired of being sick and tired, and, you know, different people will come in your life and speak into your life and share some wisdom with you. And sometimes you would catch it and run with it. But I like what the author said in this devotional. He said, I've made changes when I felt that they were necessary, and I've had change thrown onto me.
Oh, boy.
And a lot of times we have that. And then he said, what I found is that there are two ways to make peace with change. One is to bring your concerns to God. Two is don't resist the change. And when I made that decision, when I was toiling with the decision of separating from my job, I had to bring that thing to God. I had to let him know all of my reservations. I had to let him know all of the fears and all of the concerns that I had in making this choice.
Okay.
And not only that, I wanted someone else to make the choice. You know, sometimes have you ever been there where you want to grow, you want change, but you want somebody else to make the choice that's necessary for change to happen?
Right. Yeah.
And
Can you do this for me?
Yeah, can you do it? And God was like, no, this is something that you have to do. This is a choice that you have to make. And then he said, don't resist the change. Meaning, either way, change was going to happen, whether I made the decision to stay or not to stay. But change was still going to occur, and he's letting me know, do not resist it. If anything, embrace it, because as we embrace it, things are going to happen. You know, we're gonna experience something new. It's a part of our development. We're gonna grow through it. At the moment when we're going through it, we're not going to understand it. We're not even going to like it because it's going to be uncomfortable. And like you said earlier, we don't like being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
But even in this, one thing I like about what he said here in this other paragraph, we must view change as a necessary piece of the puzzle, even though it may be uncomfortable to navigate at times.
Absolutely.
I think you and I are both at a place right now, and we're still learning. So don't get it twisted, y'all. We are still learning.
We're going through a lot of changes
We're
over
going
here,
through a
guys.
lot of changes. But with this devotion and what this word change, what these two words change and growth has done with us, made us be more conscientious of it.
Yes.
Be more intentional about how we think about change, how change, and then, like I said here, the first, bring your concerns to God. When there's a change, the first thing we ought to do is, God, what are you doing here? What are you trying to get out of me here? Whatever question that the Holy Spirit may bring in your heart that you want to share with God. Because God doesn't want to keep you in secret. He don't want to hide stuff from you.
Absolutely.
He wants us to ask these questions. And then sometimes it's for us to just wait on him and understand that this is a process.
Right.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. But if we think about the things we've gone through from our childhood to our adult life, changes. It's been changes all the time. Like you talked about, you had to make a quality decision on leaving employment with not really knowing about what's next, but you're trusting God and had a peace about it. That was a change. And what to me, that showed was a level of growth that you can trust God to that degree. Not because I know how you are. You like to have your own money. Let's be real about this.
Yes, y'all.
I like my own dough.
I like my own dough because I like to shop. I like to travel. I like to do a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I don't want nobody to be putting no restraints on me when I'm ready to go.
I feel you. And I feel you. And I like for you to have your own money too. Lord, glory.
But back to it, y'all.
Yeah, but in this, let's read a little bit more. He talks about change is scary because it often requires, here we go, requires action on our part. See, it's one thing to want to change, but then, like you said, you got to do it.
Now you got to do something.
Yep.
You got to put on your big girl or your big boy pants, and you got to do something. And I think the biggest thing that concerns us or hinders us with change is that big P word, the process.
Ooh, don't say it.
It's the process,
Yeah.
guys. I'm telling you, it's the process of when we're going through change. That's what I think that really stifles us.
Yeah.
Because back to that unknown, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know how long it's going to take for it to happen. It's that process of the change.
Yep. I'm gonna circle back. I'm gonna keep pulling that thread of that last comment I made. Change. It says also, change is a response. I'm sorry. This action. I'm trying to read, y'all, and you can tell I didn't get too far in that. This action, be it a response to change or a catalyst for it, forces us to make a decision. You have to make it. You can't stay where you are. You have to do something.
Right.
And if anybody's on here, if you want to add a little something to it, if there's a time where you were forced to make a decision, you knew you had to change, but you knew you weren't going to do it on your own. And I believe God created some type of experience in your life that I have to do this, because that's what we've gone through in our lives. And we talked about the different levels of responsibility, how we grew through that, how we growing through having a blended family, how we grew through having children in the house, how we're growing through being an empty nester.
Yes.
You know, if you think about it, every day is something new. That means
Absolutely.
every day is a change. No day is the same. There's going to be something different in each day.
Right.
And to have the right perspective of getting up in the morning, knowing there's going to be a change. Okay, I was reading something the other day. One of the prayers I pray, God, teach me something today.
Yes.
God, what do you want me to learn today? That's having the right perspective. So when the change comes, your mindset is already ready to not shrink back. Okay, this is what I asked for. This change is what I asked God about.
Absolutely.
Okay, God, show me how to navigate through this because I'm not sure. That continual conversation with the Lord, because He is the day maker. He knows the end before the beginning.
Absolutely.
So when we have certain changes in our lives, it's imperative that we take it to God first.
Yes, absolutely. I think what you said, taking it to God first, and not only taking it to Him first, but taking it to Him during the process. You know, seeking Him for wisdom, seeking Him for guidance, seeking Him for the right way to go, because we don't know. I mean, in the beginning, He told us, I lay before you life and death. And then He gives us the answer. He said, choose life. But some of us still end up choosing death because He gave us free will as well. And I think the reason why it's so hard for us to make certain decisions is because we're hoping that we make the right decision, but the right decision for who? And sometimes we don't even know what the right decision is on our own, if we're using our own strength. But if we lean into God, you know, trust Him, give it to Him, lay it at His feet. Like He said, cast your cares upon me because I care for you. Lay them at His feet and then trust Him in it. He knows the end before the beginning. It said that in here that the Lord, remember that the Lord sees everything. He sees, where is it at? Here we go. It said, remember, it is He who sees the entire picture.
Right.
While we're focused on a small portion of it. See, when we're
like
in
that.
the midst of change or in the midst of growing, we only see a portion of that. We can't see the whole entire thing. That's just like when you're in the midst of something, somebody on the outside can see way more than what you can see because you're in the midst of it. And then that's what God is saying. I can see all of this because I sit up on high and I'm looking down low. I'm seeing the whole picture that you can't see right now.
Right. That's good. Because I related to our children, the different things that we see that they don't see. But we bring them along to get to that point where they, you know, even to the point where they're out of the house now.
Yeah.
And V, you can attest to that with them 3 little ones you got there.
Absolutely.
You always trying to prepare them, but you already have some type of goal in mind where you want them to be. Some things they're gonna have to change, and part of that change is how they're gonna grow.
Right. And that's what happened when I finally
See,
made the choice to make this transition from leaving my place of employment. God was like, okay. After I made that choice, first it was a heavy burden lifted up off me.
Okay.
Peace started coming upon my spirit. And I started feeling back to myself. Because sometimes when you're just going around tugging that weight of, you know, what type of decision should I make? When should I make this decision? How do I make this decision? That's a heavy weight. But once you finally let that thing go, it's like, you know, peace starts coming over you and everything. And then God was like, okay. Once I left my job, he was like, look at this over here. He started opening doors in other areas. He said, now, had you been still working, you wouldn't be able to do this.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
It was different opportunities, but I had to be honest with him and let him know about the comforts that I was going to be missing. At least I felt like I was going to be missing. And he said, you didn't trust me enough when you were working. So now I need to take you out for you to fully trust me, because you only trusted me a little bit.
Right.
Now that I done removed you from that because you thought that your job was your source, I'm your source. I supply all of your needs. And I was leaning on that because I was like, oh God, if I leave this job, then I don't have an income coming in.
Right.
He said the job was not making all that much income for you in the first place.
Right.
I was doing that. I was multiplying what you were getting.
Absolutely. You know, I think about the different challenges that you had, and I think about when we're talking about resisting that change. And one of the things I've learned to do is when I get into it, because we've been listening to this so much that we're at a place right now where we're just like, you know, let's just stop for a minute and see what God is saying in this. What is he doing in this? Right. Because I remember there was a time, I knew my point I wanted to make. I had to keep talking till it came up, y'all. A prime example of that, we wanted to get the house painted. We wanted to change the color of the house. And we had somebody come in and they gave us such a ridiculous price. We were forced to make the change on our own. In the process of the change of deciding to paint the house ourselves, we grew. And we came together and we agreed that we were going to do this and that. And through that growth, God started giving us more creative ideas.
Yes.
So that's one thing that's a benefit to going through the growth process in a change. As you go through and you start growing, you start getting more creative ideas on whatever it is that God has planned for you in the first place. So it's always important how you go through it, because you're going to go through it. Just how you're going to go through it. You're going to stay there, or you're going to just go through it, go through the valley at a slow pace. You can't run through it either. Take your time.
Absolutely. And I liked, from how it started, it talked about when we change, when you change from one thing to the next. Like it gave you different examples. Oak trees, it started from an acorn before it became an oak tree. Butterfly started from a cocoon before it became a butterfly. A flower from a bud before it becomes a flower. The same with us. We started from, infancy to toddler to childhood to adulthood or whatever have you. But the same thing happens in different changes that occur in our lives. We're not going to be that same person.
No.
Now we're going to know a little more. Now we're going to be a little bit better. Now our territory might be enlarged. So I say all that to say, because it notes the scripture, 2 Corinthians 5:17, where it says that we are new creatures. That's what happens when change occurs. Something new happens. You know, and
Yeah.
we all want this
Yeah.
newness.
Yeah.
But like you said, we don't want to do the work that comes along with it.
I think too, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves in this devotional, but being able to recognize when you're in the change is a part of growing and maturing, because there's a change going on. There's a shift that's happening. Be able to recognize that as well. And I think how we go through it helps us to better recognize when the shift or the change is taking place. Yeah.
And understand that some of those changes that's thrust upon you is because you wouldn't take the initiative to change on your own.
Yeah.
Especially like what you said at the beginning, what we're going through in our society today with our new administration, and different people have been affected with either losing their jobs, early retirement, or whatever the case may be.
That's a good point.
Those changes was thrust upon
Yes.
you wouldn't have made the change any other way. And not realizing that, and I've talked to some people, I have a lot of friends that had to make those decisions. Some retired, some just started doing another career,
Okay.
if you will. And so I say all this to say, just embrace these changes that occur on you. You know, it's not a bad thing. It's maybe something different, but guess what? You're going to grow and you're going to come through on the other side.
Yeah, because the scripture, I think you said this earlier, the scripture verse in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1, for everything there's a season, a time for every activity under the sun. The change is just for a season. And that season is to develop, and that season is a part of our development.
Absolutely.
It won't last forever.
Nope.
And the thing about it is, we have to develop through that season because another season is coming. So we can't stay where we are, because we're going to have to go. The Bible says we go from glory to glory. We have to go from season to season and allow God to use us, but also allow God to develop us through the stretch, through the change, because that's really what it's all about.
Yes.
Him developing us, because that's the title of this particular day's devotional. Growth through change.
Growth through change.
So, if anybody's on and want to add anything before we close, we just really enjoy people coming on and engaging with us. We're going to be doing this again tomorrow at the same time.
Right.
Coming and you want to give them what the resource is again?
Yes, the resource is the YouVersion app, Bible app, and the Bible plan is Growth Through Change. So if you want to go back and read it for yourself, and also if you want to join us on October the 4th, we are hosting a event called the SML, which is Single Married Life After Marriage, which includes everybody. And what it is having a conversation about change is inevitable, growth is optional. We're going to have panel speakers. We're going to have spoken word.
Yes.
We're going to have some refreshments. And guess what? This year, God said this event is going to be free.
Yes.
So who are we to get in God's way?
That's
Okay,
it.
so if you've never come to one of our events, this is the chance to come. You have no excuses because it's free, guys.
It's free.
It's free.
Yeah.
So go
Free,
over
free,
to
free,
our
free.
website, fruitfulfamily101.com.
Yeah.
Check us out. You can register. You do have to register because seats are limited
Yes.
and they are going fast. So we hope to see you there. And
But I want to add something to that,
okay.
because I can't say enough about this change, because how it has affected me. My wife and I had to talk about something this morning. We were talking about the different changes and getting to the root of why this change was so difficult for us. So sometimes when you're going through a change and it's hard, it's
may
been
trigger
challenging.
something.
Maybe it's something, God, show me where this is coming from. Why am I responding to it this way?
Yeah.
Because if you created this change in my environment, then you have a purpose for it. And that purpose might be to identify something that you're trying to purge out of me. or bring out of me in a different way, in a positive way. So
Absolutely.
no one knows but him.
Yes.
He's the creator. He's the manufacturer. So like any other thing, when you going through something, you check the manual, which is his word.
Yes.
Go back to the manufacturer, okay?
Yes. And keep the lines of communication open, especially if you're in relationship and the change occurs in your relationship. And I'm not talking about just a romantic relationship. It could be a friendship. It can be a family relationship. For us, it just happens to be husband and wife. The different changes that we are enduring, and it affects us both differently. And so the key to getting through the change, going through the process, is being very vulnerable with one another, as well as yourself, and being honest.
Yeah.
And keeping the lines of communication open. Consider each other.
Yes.
And listen to one another. Don't go out there just trying to just throw words at each other. Okay, guys?
With a stick.
Yeah, don't just be throwing them words out there.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a word thrower sometimes, but I'm learning. Okay,
Hey, change.
Change. I'm growing.
Grow.
All right, guys. We see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Y'all have a great evening.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.